All you need to learn to code these days is a laptop, an internet connection, give it 3 to 4 months, and you're magically a software engineer, right? It's just that easy. And despite all the YouTube videos and content creators showing you how you can go from zero to hero in 90 days or less and make 150K and work from home and do all those magical things, I'm here to tell you that unfortunately it's just bullshit. And instead in this video, I'm going to give you exactly what I would do if I had to start over again. And this is based off my experiences from being a real senior software engineer, deploying real applications in the corporate world for over a decade. So if you want to know exactly what I think you should be doing, stick around. Before you type a single letter on your keyboard, you need to do this one thing first, and that is getting your mind right. And what I mean by that is right out the gate, accept the fact that this is going to be incredibly hard. This is going to take you longer than 4 months, and it is going to be a challenge like you probably have never had before. Like, to be honest, I've been doing this for over a decade now, and I still feel like I'm learning something new every single day. So the fact that you have those gurus out there claiming you can do it all in 4 months, it's just bullshit. And it's going to take you longer. It might take you 1 year. It might take you 2 years. Hell, like I said, I still feel like I'm learning, and it's been over 10 years. So I don't want you to walk away from those videos feeling defeated, but quite frankly, they set a incredibly false expectation. And I'm willing to bet that the folks in those videos have never deployed a real production application outside of deploying something to Vercel. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm here for the hype train. I'm here for whatever it takes to motivate you to start this coding journey. But it's just not going to be a walk in the park. And honestly, like, for most of us, that's kind of the fun part. I think a lot of us engineers love the challenges. I think we're fiends for the grind. And truthfully, I think a lot of engineers really appreciate the fact that it sucks a little bit sometimes. And I'm putting this point first about getting your mind right to say, it's okay. You're going to go through a roller coaster of emotions, and that doesn't stop. You're going to have your highs and your lows. You're going to go down in the pit, and right after that, you'll go back on top again. It's going to be incredibly normal and probably very frequent where you are like, what the is going on? I don't understand a damn thing here. And as long as you keep going, you cannot fail. And over time, you'll start to notice yourself just picking things up a little more naturally. And I encourage you to zoom out. If it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, who the cares if it takes you 6 months, a year, or 2 years to become a software engineer? Genuinely, it doesn't matter. And if you want a pro tip, go ahead and get a journal. Digital or physical, I don't care. Just start tracking your progress. Start writing down the ups and the downs. Start doing your weekly reviews and putting down all of the points of things that you've accomplished. Because what that gives you is real proof that you have the ability to achieve what you're setting out to achieve. It gives you evidence for you to look back 6 weeks from now to say, what the hell was I doing? What was my problems? And look at yourself now and be so damn proud of how you've gotten through all of those issues. And keep this journal handy, because when times get tough, this becomes your main self-motivation factor. This gives you a system for you to motivate and lift yourself up. So get your head right before you even start, because in my experiences, if you don't set the right expectations out the gate, honestly, you're probably just going to quit. Things will feel difficult. You might get frustrated at yourself. You'll feel like you're going nowhere. But I encourage you, endure through this. Go through the valleys. Take the ride on the damn roller coaster, because it is going to be an amazing ride. And once you get your mind right, follow on to step number 2. The second thing I'm going to recommend is probably only applicable for some of you. You need to decide if you are a course follower or not. And for me, in my opinion and my experiences, I will always recommend get off Udemy. Get off of YouTube. And for those of you watching this video right now, if you feel how I feel, if you have a course or Udemy page in your another tab, close that shit right now and don't ever go back. Because in my personal experience, and something that I really struggled with, is 1, training hell, which freaking sucks, and then number 2, the absolute amount of volume overload when it comes to following along with some course. And I'm not saying courses are bad. For me now, I genuinely just use them like a textbook. I watch a little module as I'm working through a very particular problem, and it does help. But the thing I have with courses as your primary learning mechanism is most people just don't retain the information. Think about it. Think about the last course that you did. If I asked you to write some code related to that course, could you actually do it? I would make the argument that most of us would probably say no. They might recall specific little onesie twosies, but to actually build something that the course is trying to teach you from A to Z, you're just not going to retain all of that information. So instead, what I would do if I was in this spot again is I would just start building something. The to-do list, the Twitter clone if you have to. So I genuinely encourage you to pick and build something that you are familiar with. Make it about a hobby. You don't have to sell this thing. It doesn't need to be public. Just make it something you enjoy, because you're going to have a lot more fun along the way, which in turn means you're going to learn a lot more along the way. But the benefit of doing it this way is your hands are always on the keyboard. You are testing and retesting and validating your knowledge. It is the quickest ultimate feedback loop for you to identify the gaps and where you do need to go watch a little bit of a course, or where you do need to spend some time learning with ChatGPT or spending time on Google. This is the quickest way, in my opinion, for you to actually grow and learn new skills. Here's an example of something that happened in my personal life, both firsthand experience and as a senior engineer teaching another junior. Let's say you're making a service that talks to the database, and you're like, cool, works on my machine. I tested it with one request. And then the senior engineer comes in and says, cool, test that same functionality talking to the database with 1,000 requests, 10,000 requests, 100,000 requests. And all of a sudden, as you start to produce any kind of load on this thing, it completely shits the bed. And I think for all of us senior engineers, like, we've been there. It's probably an issue with connection pooling. It's probably an issue with you making a new client on every request. But going through courses, and another primary issue I have with these courses is you're not going to learn that stuff. You're not going to learn the common mistakes that we make in the field, but you will learn them if you're actually trying to produce and deploy a real product. That all said, if you are the person where you're like, nope, no shit, I need a course, I don't know where to start, or if you are so new that you do need a course to at least be your launch pad, I really genuinely would encourage the Odin Project. I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I just actually find value in that course, and not because of the coding modules, but I really, really love that course because it has a whole strategy section on how you can get a job, procuring leads, talking, networking, all of the things that we forget to do outside of code. Odin's got your back on that one. So if you are a course follower, if you love the courses, would highly recommend the Odin course. But let's move on to tip number 3. The last tip that I would recommend is to join developer communities. And in this video, I'm not going to talk about the amazing network opportunities or how you have better chances of finding jobs, which you do and will have all of those things. But in this video, I'm specifically talking about the fact that most of your time as an engineer is not making brand new, never been done before features. And instead, it's about reading other people's code. It's about deciphering documentation. It's about maintaining code in a legacy code base that is massive. And the best way that you can start upskilling in this area is go and make some developer friends. Join the communities, ask to see their code and review their pull requests. Ask them to review your pull requests. Or even easier, go to get involved in something open source. Find a library that you love. Maybe you really love a video game. Maybe there's an open source library for a mod on that video game. Go get involved, read some code, ask a lot of damn questions, and genuinely be curious every single day. Go look at their Git commit history and look at when they're taking natural pauses by every time they're committing, and start asking yourself, why do they commit there? How often are they committing? How are they adding value to both themselves and their development team by the messages that they're leaving in their commit history? And like, no shit, maybe some of this seems trivial to some of you all, but holy hell, the God's honest truth is, I wish I had somebody to tell me this when I was coming up in the field. These are things that I've learned over my tenure as a senior software engineer. And these are things that I think I really could have highlighted and short-circuited my career to be promoted faster and to be a better developer. These are the types of frameworks that I wish I had. But it wouldn't be a video of mine if I did not end it with this. The most important piece of advice that I can give you, and I hope anyone else ever gives you. Ask all the damn questions. There is no dumb question. Ask them all, ask them often, and most importantly, have fun. Because this career is a marathon and not a sprint. See you all next week. Peace.